So with that being said, talk about the customer feedback and the customer responsiveness that you've received since you started and that what you're receiving now. And I guess what are the main reasons why people continue to buy Jibby Coffee?
Yeah, we have like all sorts of different tiers of why people consume it. Like I mentioned this before, but CBD has sort of like different value propositions depending on how your body interacts with that cannabinoid. So I have a subscriber who I think has been on like a monthly supply for like almost 2 years. And he says that he feels better with like chronic pain. He's an older guy. I think he's in his 50s. Like he feels better with chronic pain than he has like back problems from consuming this coffee every day because it has that 25 milligrams of CBD in it. There are other people, usually younger audiences, like our younger customers, are are drinking Jibby as a way to like study and focus. Like instead of drinking a like super sugary
Yeah.
energy drink or a Monster, like that's how they're activating their flow state. And because the branding is sort of skews a little bit younger and it looks good, like I think people really like having it in school settings, like at the library and like having it out on your table. I think there's like some kind of signaling effect, right? Of like bringing your Starbucks
Right.
to your
Yeah. Yeah.
library and like having it on your table while you study. I think that's a really cool brand building sort of like a barometer of like, are you proud to be drinking this in front of people and holding it? And like we have an insane amount of free earned media from people who buy Jibby in store and then post videos or pictures of it just because it lends itself really well to
Well, that's
sharing.
how you know they really like the product too, right? When they drink it, consume it, but also share it with the rest of the world. So that's always a great sign.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
do like though how you're using coffee as the anchor and then figuring out a way to add wellness as kind of a plus because 80% of the people drink coffee every single day. They have to drink coffee to function. So why would you not want to drink coffee that also makes you function at a very high level, but makes you feel good or makes your body feel better, whether it's getting rid of the chronic pain, whether it's making you more focused and less erratic. And that's a great idea.
Yeah. And I think there's something that's like unspoken, but it has to be said. Like if you're gonna release a product like that, it has to taste really good. Like who cares if it's like good for you and it does all these positive things? Like you're not gonna drink it every day if it tastes like shit. And so like flavor formulations is a big part of us getting started and making sure that we're always listening to feedback. Like making a really good tasting canned coffee is actually really hard. I don't know if you saw Chamberlain Coffee, if you're familiar with them. It's
No.
run by this like big podcaster and influencer. She dropped a ready to drink coffee and it tasted so bad. She actually
Oh
went
my.
like viral on TikTok for how bad it tastes because she's a big audience. They launched in all these Walmarts everywhere. She was going mega viral just because it tasted terrible. But but props to them. Like they're reformulating. They're making sure that they're taking that feedback seriously and making something that tastes good. But canned coffee that tastes excellent is a challenge for a few interesting reasons. But one specifically is that coffee is this inherently like personal beverage, right? Like when you go buy a coffee, you say how you want them or to make it, or you add your sugar and you add your milk, right?
Right.
And as soon as you put it into a can, like that's it. You're not gonna. Some people do, but you're not really gonna pour it out and then add your sugar and add your milk into a can of coffee, right? You're gonna drink it out of the can. That's the idea. It's grab and go. So like trying to straddle all of the taste profiles that people have in such a subjective industry of taste is hard. It's really hard. So like we started with just a black cold brew with no milk, no sugar. People wanted something that was sweeter and creamier, so we launched an oat milk latte. People wanted something that was even sweeter, so we dropped a mocha. Some people don't drink coffee, so we started exploring tea and we launched our matcha latte. But even still, like the future of Jibby products in the next 4 to 6 months is actually launching brewables. Like that's our next big category, stuff that you make at home. And so that's what we soft launch on Amazon actually is like a matcha powder latte that you make. It's not in a can, but it gives the user the ability to like make it how they want.
Yeah, that was actually going to be one of my questions. Was because coffee is such a personal beverage, and people like it a million different ways. Was there a path to, really empowering the customer that way? So you answered that question. And another thing that you made me think of was I was taking athletic greens recently for a month or two, and the reason I
Yeah.
stopped drinking them is I didn't like the taste. Like
Yeah.
if it's going to be a ritual in my day and it's something I'm going to drink, I want it to taste good. So you're 100% right. I mean, the first step is it needs to taste good. If it doesn't taste good, people aren't going to have it. That's just not the way people's psychology works.
Yeah. And I've heard that about AG1 like so often because they do a really great job of acquiring customers.
Yeah.
They have a really excellent value proposition and formulation that like does feel like it does what it's supposed to do.
Right.
But they've asked consumers to like create this new space in their daily habits.
Right.
And like the same thing I said about mud water, I actually would put AG1 in the same kind of category of although I think they're more like physical performance related in my mind, and we're trying to go for more of the mental health and
Right.
psychological side of wellness.